I quite interesting in doing is like kind of presenting opportunities for people to do stuff that they would just never do in real life, just because it's a show. I think a better example is probably the George Abbott Changes Your Life show, in which we had a bit where for the whole show the technician had been really messing up, the light cues had been flickering on and off, the sound had been going wrong, and George, me, the character, kind of really got angry at the tech and pulls him up on stage and gets the audience to like kind of abuse him and like pelt him with plastic balls and stuff. And it's crazy how many people were just so on board with doing that. Just like throwing plastic balls at this poor techie, just because it was a show and a guy on stage had told them to do it, which is insane. And I guess we do try and do that in sales pitch a little bit more with getting the audience just a chance and like some really nasty, horrible stuff, opinions they would never express in real life, you know. But I do like that kind of hierarchy of performance to explore. How far can we get an audience to go? It takes you into a different world, or it's like it reflects reality, you know. If I want to quote Hamlet, holds a mirror up to nature, and like being invited into this like kind of very crazy, kind of violent, dangerous world.
Why did you do so unconventional play like this, which might make you less successful?
I think as an artist you should always just make what you want to make. I think if you're making what you want to make, then you will find an audience that enjoy it, definitely. But I totally get that. Like it is quite a niche bit of theatre, and we've definitely had a very split reaction. Some people find it hilarious and really dig it, and some people are just frowning for the whole thing and then just storm out as soon as they can. If you're enthusiastic and passionate about something and you're not kind of faking it, and it's like really coming from like an honest and truthful place, then I think people can see that and they really value that in something, whatever it is, I think, definitely.
Is there any part in your show that you are disappointed with? Because you originally want to put something in, but you failed to put it in.
That's a really good question. I think definitely the show was meant to be much more like the Maximalist when we first perceived it. So it's basically a triple homicide that eventually occurs. So the police are called and they shut down the show. And like, originally we really wanted to have like a proper like team of policemen come in and like forensic officers and like a detective and like crime scene tape, you know, over the edge of the stage. And to really make it feel like suddenly you're taken out of this world and suddenly like, oh God, this is very real, you know, this is actually happening. So we couldn't do that in the end. We just have one police officer and one forensic guy. But I think that effect is still kind of communicated in albeit perhaps that sort of more minor way.
There are lots of offensive jokes in your play.
Yeah.
Are you worried about like audience reaction?
It's back to that thing about putting people out of their comfort zone a little bit. I kind of do want people to react that way to it, but also at the same time it's kind of goes into the characters that I want to present. I really don't want the characters to be likable or sympathetic at all, so I feel like them telling these very offensive jokes is kind of a way of really getting the audience kind of against them in a way, and really kind of rooting for the really terrible stuff that happens to them later on to happen, because there's some really bad stuff and stuff happens to them. I don't want the audience to sympathise with them too much, because then it wouldn't be a comedy, it would be a tragedy.
Your audience give you some feedback about your play, so what kind of feedback you got? People
said that in the first half an hour they felt like they could really laugh and enjoy it as a comedy, and then as it went on and these really violent things kept happening, then they just kind of felt a bit sort of like worried and like nervous about what was going to happen next, so they felt less like they were allowed to laugh. And that was something that was really informative for us, I think, definitely. It was like, okay, obviously we still want the play to escalate in the way it does, but how can we still kind of let the audience know that it is still funny, it is still comedy, they are still allowed to laugh.
The name of your first play is George Abbott Changed Your Life, and why you play a guy who have the same name as you?
It's I hope people don't think that I am that actual character, because he was just a complete maniac. But at the same time, I guess that's kind of what it's all about. I quite like kind of exploring the boundaries between the actor and the performer. And in a sense, especially with marketing that play, I really wanted people to not think that it was an actor at all, and to really think that it was just this crazy self-help guru that had just come into the room. I have lots of stuff happening, like tech going wrong, and like people in the audience coming up and shouting out, and like big fights breaking out. So it's definitely something that I'd really like an audience to question, is like, what is real? How much of this is actually in the play? And, you know, is this actually going wrong? Are these people actually real people, or are they actors?
George Abbott, the character, also influenced back on you. So what do you think?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like, I think there is maybe a little bit of a feedback loop going on. I like to think that the character George Abbott that I play is kind of like all the really bad parts of my personality, just taken and like heightened to an extreme. So no, I think George Abbott is actually kind of good for me, you know, because it's a way to get like my really like arrogant, mean, narcissistic side of my personality and just like heighten that and like perform it as a character. It's kind of cathartic and a bit therapeutic, I think. I think at the end of the day, you know, I still am playing a character, I think. I'm still kind of imagining this fake person that I'm being. So hopefully we haven't become too blurred. But if I keep doing this for a few years, maybe you'll never notice the difference. We'll see. You might just merge into one person. It's not like you're necessarily kind of like stepping into this imaginary body, you know, and you're like pretending to be this new person. You're reacting and behaving exactly as you as a person would act and behave if these circumstances applied to you.
What is your motivation of doing this kind of like show?
I want to make something that's funny, first and foremost. I think, obviously, we've talked quite a lot about sort of political ideas and capitalism and brands and stuff, and there is certainly a lot of that behind it, but my main motive is definitely to make the audience laugh. I've always enjoyed comedies, and apparently people tell me I'm funny, so that's what I've tried to go into writing. There was a quote by somebody, I can't remember who, but they said, theatre is a film that can spit on you. You are in the same room as these people. So I kind of want to utilise that kind of thing and like give people like a really intense experience with the whole feeling that, oh my god, I'm trapped in a room with these maniacs. So a bit of both really. It's kind of like scaring the audience and making them a bit uncomfortable, taking them out of their comfort zone, but also making them laugh, and it's all obviously good fun at the end of the day.